Well, hello everyone, it's Jenelle Magtibay here. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into this video and for checking out my channel. If you don't know who I am and if this is your first time watching one of my videos, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Jenelle Magtibay, but you can call me Jem, and I am a session and touring musician, music producer, and music director from Sydney, Australia. I've played and toured with the likes of people such as Gabby Barrett and Kate Fainer from American Idol, who are now in Nashville. I've even done work with people like City Light, Nigel Hendroff, Luke Munz in the Christian music world. And even when it comes to social media guitar work or music stuff, I've done work with 440 Sound, Tone Junkie TV, interviewed people such as Drew Shirley and Michael W. Smith and Stu G, who are all legends in the Christian music world. And I'm also a music producer for multitracks.com, where I sell all my Line 6 Helix and HX Stomp presets. And if you want to check out more of what I do musically, if you want to contact me for any music work, feel free to head out to my website at www.jenellemagtibaymusic.com. So this video is going to be a really fun one, as I've never gotten to show off my producer and my mix engineer side of things musically. This is a side where I love doing music production and mixing music and producing and playing on tracks and sessions and in studios. I finally have a brand new home studio after not having one for about a year and a bit, since we moved out of our beloved home for 22 years. And it's been a year now since we have come out of lockdown here in Sydney. If you guys didn't know, here in New South Wales, Australia, we had one of the worst lockdowns ever, where in my area, particularly Western Sydney, we weren't allowed to go anywhere outside of a 5-kilometer radius in a local government area, is what they call it. And because of that, we weren't, my church in particularly, Come to Jesus Church, we weren't allowed to go into our church building and do any recording. So in the span of those 4 or 5 months, we needed to come up with a way to do our services online. So what we did is we found out a way where people would send their own videos to someone, one of the members of our creative team, and to edit videos. So they would send themselves, either they would be preaching or they'd be talking, and they send that their video and audio to someone else. And in terms of worship, what we decided to do is we invested in getting some recording equipment to members of our worship team, and we would drop off the recording equipment to the members who wanted to play for that weekend, and they would record themselves playing on a track that I would create every week with the scheduled lineup from the worship leader. So usually three songs each weekend, and I would make a click track and a guide and pretty much create the parts and individually send each person playing or singing what parts they were going to sing on a click track, so that they would play their instruments with that click track in their ears, and it would line up to that click. They would send me their audio files, and I would mix that every week. I'm Free Kiev A, worship leader. Get ready to start talking, and band coming with the intro. Get ready to crash. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good morning, church. We are so happy to see you here at CTJ Church Online.
Band come in.
Wherever you are, let's get ready to praise and worship God. And if you're new, we welcome you to our family. Come on, let's go.
Verse 3, 4.
Joy. There's a joy in my soul.
So this project that we're doing is a cover of Tribes by Victory Worship. Victory Worship is an amazing worship team based off Victory Church in the Philippines. Awesome music and really awesome people. I've had the chance to talk to Charles Bautista, who's their music director in Victory Church. Such a lovely dude. And yeah, we decided to do this project of their song Tribes as part of a way to celebrate us coming back into church and also opening up the building again right before Christmas time. And so this song Tribes came about as one of our creative directors wanted us to try and make something with this song. And I loved it. Me and my friend Aaron, who's actually one of the people who's singing in this track, have been wanting to do this song at our church for so long. So when this came about, I'm just like, oh, yep, I know exactly what we're going to do with this. So yeah, my sister Jenelle, who's the lead vocal in this, is the one who arranged all the vocals, and I'm the one who helped. Oh, and also her boyfriend Luke also helped arrange the vocals, and I'm the one who put all the instrumentation together, all the music production, the mix, and the mastering for this. So, Tribes by Victory Worship. If you haven't seen our cover of the Tribes cover that we did, I've put a link in the description below so you can watch the cover that we did. And I'd just love to give you guys a little rundown of how we made it happen. So when it came to do Tribes, I knew exactly like the idea that I had of what I wanted musically for this song. I wanted to blend the arrangement with the claps and hits of Victory Worship's original arrangement, their acoustic full band vibe for Tribes, blended with the high energy synth pop version that they did in that live video for this conference, which is where I based the multi-track off.
Praise and glory, honor and strength unto our God, matchless, endless, love unrestrained. This is our God. Every time sing praise and glory, honor and strength unto our God, matchless, endless, love unrestrained. This is our God. Every time sing.
So musically, the elements that make up our cover for Tribes is we have 10 vocals, we have 2 bass guitars, 2 drums, 2 electric guitars, 1 acoustic guitar, and tracks with synths and loops and all that stuff. And it was quite of a challenge because it was a way for us to, how can I get everyone involved but still make their parts heard and whatnot. So what I did was I got them to play the song in total as they would play it just normally, like if they were playing on bass, play the bass that they would play it. If they were playing drums, I assigned Kenneth, the main drummer, on drums, and Fabian on auxiliary drums. I was the one who played electric guitar for both, and yeah, we'll break it down. I'll show you how we did it. Yeah, so starting off with the intro. So the bare bones of that is actually these tracks from multitracks.com of the actual multitrack session of Tribes, the live version that they did in that conference, which you can find on multitracks.com for purchase. So it starts with this. This is pretty much the skeleton of where everything is going, and I've arranged it all. So there comes that little loop with that electronic kick drum. Next is this electric guitar, 2 guitars going on, playing this dotted 8 type guitar thing that I was playing. So you have guitar 1, which I was playing a more rhythmic guitar part with, I think it was guitar. Is this guitar one that I'm using? Yeah, so this one I'm playing with this white Telecaster. This guy over here, this is the one I used all the lead guitar parts for, all the lead lines, the guitar solo stuff. This is the guitar that I used. And for guitar 2, I used this guitar with humbuckers. This is the Tolvanen Guitars Sisu. That white Telecaster is also made by Tolvanen Guitars here in Sydney, Australia. Made by Timo Tolvanen. That is the Disciple T. This guitar has the Lambertones grinders, so I was using this for more of the heavier rhythm parts. So yeah, guitar 1 playing the upper register. And this is what I've got on it. Just a bit of EQing out that low end that you don't need. Pushing up a bit of the high end and the upper mids with this API plugin. I've got a bit of parallel compression here, and also I've got some on the guitar bus, the electric guitar bus, I've got a CLA 3A, and that's pretty much about it. And same goes with guitar 2, except I just panned it to left and right. So here's guitar 2 playing a little more thicker parts. And that's actually changing chords on the bass notes. And for the guitar tones for this song, I was using my Line 6 Helix using my Church Ace preset, which is available on multitracks.com for both guitars. And together they sound like this. Combine that with the track. Alright, then comes this main riff with the drums and bass. So this song has two bass players, right? On the red bass we have Alyssa, who we love to call Poppy. So Poppy's on the main bass because not only did her recording come out a little cleaner than bass 2, but the parts that she played actually wound up suiting the song a little more. So we have Poppy on bass 1, and then bass 2 we have Isra. Isra is the one who plays a little more of the lead bass lines. He's the one who's playing the back. He's the one that's playing the black P bass in this track, and he's got like these solo parts before the instruments come in with all the drums. And for the bass guitars, this is what I'm using. I've got they send me their dry DI signal, just recorded through an audio interface, and I've got them running Helix native with my Aggie 751 preset, which is also available on multitracks.com. Got a little bit of compression on here, some drive with the kinky boost, which sounds awesome, absolutely amazing, nice and gritty. And then the amp is the Aguilar DB751 amp model with a 610 cab. Nice and gritty, but in the mix it just sounds nice and big. Yeah, Poppy's bass sounded really, really awesome, because if you hear Isra's bass, for some reason, like it came out really like fuzzy and buzzy. Yep, so I was like, oh man, I won't be able to use that. But yeah, that's kind of what the basses sound like together in the mix with the drums. Now let's talk about these drums. So we have two drum players. On the main drums we have Kenneth, who is playing his kit, this red Sonar Safari kit, where I've mic'd it up with two overheads, a rack tom mic, a floor tom mic, a snare drum mic, and a kick drum mic. And they are all running the Slate Trigger 2 plugin for triggers on drums, and especially on the snares. On the snare drum, I'm running Drum Sample Shop's their version of a Black Beauty, the Black Stallion, which sounds absolutely awesome. So if I were to play these drums, which are also running in this drum bus over here, on this drum bus I've got a bit of SSL G channel EQ, which is my favorite EQ on drums. I've got this LA76 for the drum bus, this Logic Fat Effects, which is such a great plugin, and the Data Life Sausage Fattener on the drums, and also got a bit of parallel compression and reverb on the drum bus to make it just a little bit more punchier to stick out in the mix, but doesn't overpower it too much. So without the drum triggers, the Slate drum triggers, it still sounds amazing. I mean, seriously, like the drums were captured really, really well. The drums were tuned well. I don't think that you could, you know, get a great sounding drum recording if the source doesn't sound great from the get-go. So here are what the drums sound like by themselves without any Slate Trigger 2. And I'll throw in the triggers now. So that's main drums. Then the next thing we have are these aux drums played by Fabian. And honestly, these aux drums add so much life to the drums and percussion. It is so good. Like without him, it actually sounds like quite empty. It's got these little cymbals and snare hits. using like a piccolo snare and some stack cymbals. And if you blend that together with these drums over here, the main drums, my gosh, they sound incredible. Without the auxes, it's cool, but then add them back in. It just adds so much life to it. I've also got trigger 2 running for the kick and the snare, but the toms are just wide open. They're just running 2 overheads. I've panned them hard, left and right, and they just sound absolutely fantastic. So that intro together sounds like this. So yeah, those are the elements that I have used for the instruments. Those are the plugins that I use for the drums, the bass. That's how we arranged it musically and how everyone was able to play their own part. Just got them to play at the same time, playing whatever. And yeah, sent me the files, and that's kind of what I used. All the plugins, all the EQs, compressors, stuff like that. And now let's get into the lead vocal. So the lead vocal is sang by Jenelle, my sister, and this is what I've got in a chain.
Every tribe will
I've got a bit of tuning, some EQ, the Wave Standard EQ, the SSL E channel, which is my favorite SSL plugin so far. I've got this Waves Logic de-esser and the CLA 76 on the blue channel. I absolutely love this plugin so much. I've also got some reverb for the vocals on a parallel send. I've got another reverb, a bigger washed out decay, all using the chroma reverb for my reverbs here. I love this reverb plugin made by Logic. It is so good. And I've also got this Waves H delay, my favorite like plugin delay made by Waves. It's so amazing. And I've got some parallel compression, some vocal parallel compression to help it stick out in the mix without me having to crank up the volume too high. And here's what the vocal sounds by itself.
Every tribe will see your glory. Every nation bow before you.
Without all this stuff, this is kind of what the vocals sound like. Don't mind the reverb since it's already on the bus. I don't want to take that out.
Every tribe will see your glory.
And every singer is singing on this exact Rode NT1 that is in front of me right now, and the results turned out absolutely amazing.
Every nation bow before you.
Put everything back together.
Every tribe will see your glory. Every nation bow before you.
With the instruments.
All our treasures turn to ashes in the light of you. As we're singing, holy is the Lord Almighty. Only you are worthy of it all.
So this pre-chorus section is really cool instrumentation wise, and I want to start off with the bass because whatever it is that Poppy played here was actually really awesome. In this arrangement, I didn't intend to throw in like any diminished chords or any passing notes, but she did it on her own and it sounded awesome. So I cut out all the bass here because the bass didn't need to play in this section, but it came back in the as we're singing holy. So the bass comes into that. You can combine that with the vocal.
As we're singing, holy
And here's this passing note.
is the Lord Almighty.
That's so cool. I didn't intend that to be in the arrangement, but she threw it in there and it worked out so well. So sick. And with the guitars on guitar 1, I ended up creating this lead line over here. While guitar 2 is playing a rhythm. Straight chords. I've got that solo part before we redo verse 1. So altogether it sounds like this.
As we're singing, holy is the Lord Almighty.
Drums with the big toms
Only you
and aux drums like this. So sick with these drums as well. Blend them all together. You can hear those little tambourine hits on the underneath it. It just sounds so sweet. Now verse 1, the second time we sing it around, is sang in a harmony by At the Baby and Josh. So At the Baby's got a similar plug-in vocal chain. They're all running all the same vocals and plugins, but I've adjusted them differently just to suit their voice. All still sings through the same NT1, but here's how their vocal sounds together blended. I've got Baby panned a little to the left and Joshua a little more to the right, as I wanted At the Baby's vocals to be a little more to the center but still separated so you can still hear a bit of that width.
Every tribe will see your glory. Every nation bow before you. All our treasure turn to ashes in the light of you.
So I totally forgot to automate those things out, but it turned out really great in the mix anyway. So I was like, okay, cool.
Every tribe will see your glory. Every nation bow before you.
And on their vocal chains, I've thrown the main vocals into this one chain, and I labeled it male vocals, and I threw the choir into another bus. Well, I separated them all into male vocals, female vocal bus, and a male choir and a female vocal choir bus, and they've all got their own separate plugins here. Like some of them have an exciter, but they're all pretty much running the same thing. Some parallel compression, some reverb, some delay, all sounding awesome. And then now we get into the second pre-chorus, and that is sang by Aaron and Kuya James. Once again, same plugins, same everything, just all tweaked differently for their vocal range, and how loud they sing.
As we're singing, holy is the Lord Almighty. Only you are worthy, worthy of it all.
So Aaron is panned to the right and James is panned to the left. Nice separation. I think vocally, volume-wise, they're very nice and balanced. Bring in the instruments again.
As we're singing, holy is the Lord Almighty. Only you are worthy, worthy of it all. Praise.
And Jenelle goes back into the lead vocal here in the chorus, and this is the one where I wanted to get that first chorus of the original arrangement by Victory Worship with the claps. That stuff, I wanted to get that in here because the full live band arrangement with all the synths and stuff, it didn't have that, and I felt like the song needed that as a way to be a little more fun. And the vocalist actually did the claps in the video on the original recordings, but for some reason Dalen, who edited the video, that he didn't throw them in there, which is totally fine. But yeah, it was kind of like a fun thing to do. If you hear all the recordings, you can hear them do all the clapping. But yeah, as soon as we get to the chorus, this is what it sounds like.
Praise, glory, honor, and strength unto our God, matchless, endless, love unrestrained. This is our God, every tribe sing.
And this is where the choir comes in, where they repeat the chorus. And in this arrangement of tribes, we do the bridge 4 times, and we do it in 3 different languages. We do it in English, Tagalog. Oh, sorry, 4 languages: English, Tagalog, Afrikaans, and Tongan. Those are kind of the main primary languages that are spoken by the people at our church. Well, there's multiple ethnicities, but the most common ones are in those languages spoken by the people of those tribes. And especially with the song talking about how every tribe and every nation will sing about the name of Jesus. So the way that these vocals were recorded, it was actually recorded in the upstairs mezzanine room of our main church building into a it was recorded into an Audio Evo 4 audio interface into a laptop, and that's how we got the vocals. It was this microphone, and the room is actually well treated, so there's not much reflections going into that room. So when the vocals were recorded, the vocals actually sounded so good. So here's the vocals all together with the band.
Sing praise, glory, honor, and strength unto our God, matchless, endless, love unrestrained. This is our God, every tribe sing.
So all these choirs are thrown into their own choir bus over here, which I've labeled male and female choir. So you got people singing the soprano, alto, tenor, and the bass all together like this.
Praise and glory, honor and strength unto our God.
So the upper registers, we've got the Joe and the baby over here. So if I mute these out.
Praise and glory, honor and strength unto our God, matchless, endless, love unrestrained. This is our God, every tribe sing.
And all together with the females.
Praise and glory, honor and strength unto our God, matchless, endless, love unrestrained. This is our God, every tribe sing.
And then here are the fellas singing the lower registers.
Praise and glory, honor and strength unto our God, matchless, endless, love unrestrained. This is our God, every tribe sing. Ayo, 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 ah.
So the vocals sound a little funny because I actually had to do a lot of work to fix up the vocals, because the laptop I was using at the time was a 13-inch mid-2012 MacBook Pro, and as much as it had enough horsepower to do what I needed to do, it actually ran out of power. So when I came to record all these stacks of layers of vocals, the computer was actually crashing and it was having a problem to record. So hence why I had to find a new laptop. So I found a bigger quad-core 15-inch MacBook Pro, and I had to salvage all these vocals using Isotope RX to get rid of all the cracks and pops, and it did its job. And in the mix you can't even tell that there was like little glitches and stuff, but yeah, it got rid of all the pops. And even though some things sounded a little bit robotic, it turned out really, really great. And in their buses I've got some waves tuning, a little bit of EQ with the SSL, and the CLA 76 keeps everything nice and tight. Individually they've got all the same plugins that I use with all the other vocals, you know, the tuning, the EQ, the DSR, the CLA, a bit of reverb and delay, and parallel compression. So now we get to the Ayo parts, the bridge. Now with the bass guitar, this is where Isra jumps in, and the bass switches between Poppy and Isra over here. Still a little bit buzzy, but it works. With the acoustic guitar as well, playing sustained. So Poppy plays that sustained. Israel plays this like lead part over here. So cool. So in the mix when they're singing all the AOs. So yeah, with all these vocals and instrument layers going on, it was important that I still kept the lead vocal nice in the center. And while all the other elements, the other bigger vocals were encapsulating it and keeping it surrounded. Not too hot in the mix, but it was big enough to sound like a choir. So if I soloed all these vocals together, this is what it sounds like.
There is no one like our God. 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 Wala kang katulad, O Diyos. Wala kang katulad, O Diyos.
Here comes the other languages.
Daes niemand soos U, Heer. Daes niemand soos U, Heer.
Tongan.
Ika'y tataw mo, Eotua. Ika'y tataw mo, Eotua.
So if we go again from Tagalog.
Wala kang God. Wala kang katulad, O Diyos. Wala kang katulad, O Diyos.
Afrikaans.
Daes niemand soos U, Heer. Daes niemand soos U, Heer.
Tongan.
Ika'y tataw mo, Eotua. Ika'y tataw mo, Eotua.
And back to English.
There is no one like our God. There is no one like our God. Praise
And then now in comes this crash out part where there's nothing but a kick drum, a little bit of the tracks, and the lead vocal.
Praise, glory, honor, and strength unto our God, unto our God. Majesty, endless, love unrestrained. This is our God. Every tribe sings.
So with Janelle's lead vocal part, I chopped up that part where she goes into that big sing. And I threw it here into this other chain where I bumped up the volume a little bit, kept the same EQs and all.
This is our God. Every tribe sing unto our God, unto our God. Matchless, endless, love unrestrained. This is our God. Every tribe sing praise, glory, honor, and strength.
And I just decided to go ham on guitar one just because it was awesome to do that.
Love unrestrained. This is our God. Every tribe sing. There is no one like our God. Unto our God. Unto our God. Matchless, endless, love unrestrained. This is our God. Every tribe sing. Praise, glory, honor, and strength. Unto our God. Unto our God. Matchless, endless, love unrestrained. This is our God. Every tribe sing. There is no one like our God.
And the arrangement ends with the two drummers and the vocals just going at it.
Every tribe sing. There is no one like our God. There is no one like our God. There is no one like our God. There is no one like our God.
Had that big reverb trail ending with the chroma verb and the waves delay. Sounds awesome. And if you guys want to see what was in my master chain over here, I'm running Ozone 9, this EQ over here, this analog type EQ, analog warmth, that's the preset, what it's called. Got an SSL channel there just for color, doesn't do anything EQ wise. I've got this SSL compressor, this is the settings I'm running on it. I've got this multipressor to handle that low end, and so it doesn't get too boomy, stays nice and tight but really clear. I've also got this Ozone stereo widener, and just do this modern width setting on it. And then I've got this Ozone 9 for my first limiter, and then the second limiter I've got just the stock standard Logic limiter, and it turned out great. It sounds fantastic, and I'm just using this multimeter to monitor myself so nothing's out of phase or whatnot, nothing's peaking.
Unto our God, matchless, endless, love unrestrained. This is our God. Every tribe sing. There is no one like our God. There is no one like our God. There is no one like our God. There is no one like our God.
So that is my mixed breakdown of Come to Jesus Church's cover of Tribes by Victory Worship. We had so much fun doing it, and it was such a great time for us to get together again after being locked down and away from each other for so long, and to create a project that was birthed out of a lockdown. That was really, really fun, and I hope that we get to do something like this again very, very soon. But yeah, if you enjoyed watching this video, please give this video a thumbs up, or feel free to subscribe to my channel if you want to. If you want to check out more of my music stuff, once again, head out to www.jenellemagtibaymusic.com. And if you want to see the things that I get up to at my church, and if you want to see what my church is about, and if you want to come visit us, feel free to go to my YouTube channel and see all my music directing videos there, or check out our website at cometojesus.com.au. So yeah, and that is the video of my mix breakdown for Tribes. I hope you enjoyed watching, and thank you so much once again for watching and for all the support for those who have subscribed to this channel. I'll catch you guys another time, and peace out, God bless, and have yourself an amazing day.